All right. So I'm just going to let you introduce yourself, pass the mic, the name of your movie, and we'll just start asking questions, okay? Pin.
My name is Austin Cole, and I created Solar Neighbor.
I'm Archer McIntyre. I'm a drag race.
Thomas Gear, Prior Bad Axe.
A round of applause for these wonderful. They are so wonderful.
Thank you. What I love about the movies, again, is they were all very different, but all very poignant. So do we want to open up with what gave you the idea?
So the kind of the context for making Solar Neighbor, it was made while I was in, and then after a season where I took care of my grandparents for a couple of years, and so just really briefly, me and my grandpa were really close. I grew up with a heart condition that he also had, so he had spent time taking care of me as a kid, and then I got to kind of be there for him like that, and so I was just in a phase where I gone through a lot. I had a whole bunch of feelings, and I really was kind of trying to refine my hope. And so I wanted to make a movie that wasn't ignorant of loved ones passing, but I wanted to kind of end on that note that when you love somebody, they're never really gone, and paint that picture of the world that he kind of helped introduce me to.
I was driving. I was driving a really bad car at the time, and I wondered. I was like, "What if I got into a race and had to push my car?" And that was kind of just where it snowballed.
About 2 years ago, well, I should say first, I grew up in a family of Marines. My dad was a sergeant, my mom was a corporal. But about 2 years ago in New York City, there was a fight between a U.S. Marine sergeant and a person who was unhoused and struggled with his mental health and had made a kind of a career out of scaring people on the subway. And so the two concepts at play here, one's about the use of plea bargains to keep the dockets clear and avoid going to trial. And then the other one is there a such thing as a fair fight? And so Leroy Brown is sitting there watching this man scare these women and their children, and he has to decide, do I get up and do something, or do I just sit here and mind my own business and I'm not in any trouble? And so he decided to get up and tackle the guy, and like you heard in the film, there's a thin line between a chokehold and a headlock. And so some of this is risk assessment, some of it's, are you a person who believes that someone who caused the death of another is guilty, or is there more to it than just merely he did it, it's all his fault? So that's where this film comes from.
Let's go ahead and open the floor to questions. We have the directors here. You can pick them right. Well, now's the time. Yes.
I'll start it off. I have some comments and questions for all three of these. All these films were really good, including the ones the guys were here. I was hoping the runner guy would be here.
Yeah.
Because I am a runner, and I thought that was kind of interesting. So I guess I'll start with Tom. Actually, Tom and I had a long conversation in the Zeta last night. Let me ask. I forgot to ask you this. The guy. Several years ago, this happened to. I remember he did get convicted.
He actually, he was found not guilty in a jury trial.
That's right. He's found not guilty.
Right, not guilty. It lasted 2 weeks, and the people I know who work in the trial business say there's nothing worse than when you get to Friday without a verdict and you ask the folks to come back on Monday. It makes it more likely they'll find, because they want their life back, it makes it more likely that they will find not guilty.
Okay. The other thing is this. Yeah, I think it is sort of a moral dilemma, because we talked about this last night. It's like, okay, it's different. We talked about like when you're in combat, and there's a civilian, and you have this okay, do I shoot the civilian? If I shoot the civilian, I get court. I don't see brilliant, will they kill me? And, I think sometimes it's interesting when I meet people who have this black and white view of the world and everything. And I've always lived in the gray. And I think it's just a difficult thing. I think it's interesting that you point that out. And also about the plea bargaining, how we're just running people through like cattle. How when a guy's looking at a life sentence, he'll plead guilty. He'll feel like, okay, I'll just plead. I didn't do this, but I'll do 6 years. Because if they convict me, I'm going to prison for life. So there's a lot of people in prison that are doing time for stuff they didn't commit. Excellent film. I'd like to see, more going terribly bad.
We, at present, we're working on a feature film on this very subject. So thank you.
I forgot to ask you this. Can you film this on the West Coast?
On the West Coast, in San Francisco.
That's what I thought. I thought it was an excellent film. And the AI generated those photos at the end.
Correct. I'm lucky enough, my editor, Sam Means, is sitting behind you. He had a big hand in that.
Like I said, I thought it really felt this one.
Thank you.
Moving on to the middle. Where did you say your name was?
Archer.
Okay, I got to tell you, the first 30 seconds of the film, I thought this is really bad. And then I realized, oh, wait a minute. It's this farce, and it was fun. And it really was. I don't know what else to say. Where are you guys from?
I'm originally from the DFW area. I moved here for school. And, Dalton and Nelson and Nada are all Albuquerque natives. Brian, who plays Thug and was our wonderful editor, he's from Reno.
I spent a lot of time in Dallas. Imagine we're out in North Louisiana, 4 hours from Dallas, so you through the kind of playing. Fun. That's what all I had. It was fun.
Your lead actor, did his hair keep you longer and shorter?
We had to do reshoots close to a year later. We did not have a script supervisor, which is a must. It's rough to be in post without a script supervisor. And so we did reshoots close to a year later, and Nelson's hair wasn't exactly right, and Dalton warned us. He's like, hey, I lost 10 pounds. I was in an episode of Young NCIS. And I was like, that's great, man. I don't think it'll be that noticeable. And it's all in his face. It's just all in his face. And we were fortunate to have made it work a little bit.
There's a charm, I think. That to that farcical theory.
It's good schlock.
Yeah.
And I was going to move on to Cole, but what? Or Austin, should say Austin. Yeah, where are you from?
I'm from Colorado. I currently live in Denver, but I've lived up and down the Front Range.
Okay. Let me ask you this: Have you done other films? This first film?
This was my first film.
I forgot to ask. I'm sorry again. Oh, is that your first? It's your first film?
Yes.
Do you see yourself as an animator going forward, or do you have other things you want to do?
Yeah, animation is definitely, I really, really enjoy it. So I'm expanding on this universe. So I actually just finished another short that's with these same alien characters.
Here. I really liked it. The thing I liked about one is there wasn't any dialogue. Guys, the music, I thought the music was really appropriate. The quality of piano piece was beautiful. I think you thought, I don't know if I really have watched the with 10.
Thank you.
People don't understand how difficult and time-consuming stop motion is, because every little motion is a picture. And so,
Did you spend on that? That was
It was about a 3-year process.
Yeah, let me ask you this. One more thing, Austin. If you literally, I don't know anything about animation except it's kind of YouTube. But if you have to do like frame by frame by frame,
Correct. Yep.
it's free. What frame to say?
I did it at 18 frames per second, so I shaved a little bit off there to make it a little easier on myself.
That's still a lot.
Yep. Thank you.
How long? You talked about that long journey. Well, let me ask. I forgot to ask Tom and the other two guys. How long did it take you to make your film?
How long did it take me to make this? It was about a 2.5-year project, because so many good ideas kept coming up and competing with stuff that was already out there. And even, the choice to use the AI, there's mixed feelings on it. I totally understand that. And so we wanted to do what was best for telling the story. And there are a lot of different opinions, and I think at the end we got something good. Is there other ways? Absolutely. But at the end, there comes a point when you just have to close the book and move on to the next thing.
Yeah, and AI is here to stay. And I think that as a filmmaker, I'm going to have to begrudgingly embrace a certain amount of it. But yeah, it's here to stay. Not going anywhere.
This is the third iteration of Drag Race. The other two have been sealed away in the vaults, but this one took us about 2 years, 1 year consecutively. We were in post for quite a while because it was like surgery, trying to figure out where to cut it, where to not. Yeah.
Any other questions? Come on, I know you have. Oh, I see it in back there.
So I just wanted to say that Solar Neighbor, that sounds very entertaining. I grew up with the instrument, all of that, and a lot of people don't realize just how difficult something like that is to animate.
Thank you. The plastic wrap on the waves, I thought that was that's not right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, I see him.
What did you learn while working you as project? How does family fight
Designers.
I think for me, just a bunch. I mean, I've learned a bunch about lighting, a bunch about sound edit. I mean, kind of everything from the ground up about.
Later, I took an acting class, that suddenly made it click. And so just being able to figure out how to communicate on set is probably the biggest takeaway. And, how important every role is. Now, my latest short, we had a script supervisor. That was awesome.
I think two things stand out. I played 4 sports in high school and 2 in college, but I don't think there's any kind of a project, journey, etc., that requires more teamwork than making a film. And like the guys mentioned, every person's job is really important. So from the production assistants right up to the director, it's teamwork, teamwork, teamwork. And I think you can see that when long time later, a year or 2 years later, I was still in touch with almost everyone who worked on that film. And I think it's because we all felt good about the project and we all felt good about our contributions. And when I'm looking at casting, I always ask, would I go sailing with this person? Because once you're on the boat, there's no getting off. And so I would say even years later, every single person who worked on that, I go sailing with all of them. Yeah.
Neat. What other questions? Let me just check our time. These directors are fabulous. We have 5 more minutes. Any other question? Again, Phil.
Oh, is there anybody else? I don't want to.
No.
I apologize, little guy. What's your name again? Archer. Yes. You said did you go to University of McIntyre or you sick?
Yes, I'm still ahead of you in my last semester.
Let me ask, do you know Jordan Begay? I think she graduated about 3 or 4 years ago.
No.
Do you know Ella Daniel?
I do know Ella.
Yeah, Ella was one of the cinematographers on my film.
Really? Which one was that?
Yes, The Long Walk, A Dance with Humanities.
Okay. I'll have to ask her about that.
Nothing. So she was out. Yes, great.
She just collaborated with Sam Comatz, who shot this one on one of the capstones this year.
Oh, do you know Ryan Howell? Oh, no, you wouldn't know Ryan Howell. If you don't know George Begay, you wouldn't know Ryan.
No.
But, yeah, tell Ella friend.
I'll
All right. Any other questions?
I still got a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you have a team working on this, or was it just all you?
This one was all me. Going forward, I've been able to meet people where I met somebody that's doing music with me now, and then another friend that's helping me do some animation. So the team is growing, but this one was the
What was that pre-production process like? I can imagine you're just sitting there trying to plan everything out.
yeah. It was a lot of planning, but then a lot of it was like drawing maps of the actual world and just kind of, I was in a spot where I wasn't doing great. And so I really needed a place to escape to. So there was a lot of world building that never even ended up, like the whole life cycle of those whale creatures and how they interact with them. That was a whole thing that I was going to go into that I'd written. And it's just really, really nice to get onto a different world. And safe trying to bring it out to be.
Yeah.
We're good.
Now, any other, you gentlemen have any other questions for each other? I want to thank all of you again. Let's give them another round of applause. They are excellent. Our next question. What is everyone doing next? Let's talk about that. And how can we follow you if we want to follow you?
So you can follow me on Instagram is where I post the most, and it's just Solar Neighbor, or I have a website that's Solar Neighbor Art. And then, like I said, I'm going to be making more shorts from this world. So my next one is called Skip and Henry. That's kind of my ode to Wallace and Gromit.
We're in post on another short right now, and you can always find me. Instagram's probably a good spot. I'm not really online all that much trying to post, but it's, I think, just my name. Yeah.
Our next project with a lot of the people who worked on the initial short is going to be a feature-length film where the Marine goes to trial, and he has Emily Ann, the public defender, represent him. And so that's in pre-production now, and so that's a script thing mostly, and it's about 200 pages. And I know someone had mentioned here how hard it was to cut things, and there's this phrase that I've heard before about kill your darlings. Some of the best scenes don't get to be in the film. I think that's a hard thing, but I'm hoping that we can take that stuff that we learned from the first one and move forward and do something that we can point out while entertaining that this practice of allowing people to plead guilty to things they have not done is wrong. One, because it's expensive, and two, because that means the real perpetrator is out there somewhere. And when I lived in Dallas, the district attorney at the time, and I've never heard anyone else say this, he said once, tough on crime sounds good, but smart on crime does good. And I'm hoping that our next film can maybe start that debate, smart on crime. So that's the next step.
Thank you. All three of you are absolutely amazing. And thank you for letting us screen your children at our film festival. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you guys to kind of go hang out in the lobby because I want to do on-camera interviews with you. And because we have to give John a chance to get the camera out there. Our next programming starts at 4:30. So if you want to get up, get some fresh air, if you want to have us take some photos of you,